Okay, uh, this is how we're going to go about printing our final projects. So I'm going to suggest we put both files in one Illustrator file, well, both images in one Illustrator file, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to end up with a 10-inch by 10-inch for the radial and a 10-inch by 10-inch for the tile. So what you need is you need one radial pattern, and that could be the 30, or I'm sorry, that could be the 60, 45, or 72. And then you need one tile pattern, and that could be the reflectional or the rotational. And again, it's going to be made up of four tiles. One, two, three, four. Okay, so let's get this done here. All right, so first thing I want to do is go about, um, I have my four studies. I'm only going to keep one of them. And I'm going to save it as an Illustrator file. So I want to make sure that I hit the artboard panel, artboard tool, and that will highlight the artboards and it'll show us the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so I'm going to save this as an Illustrator file. So I'm going to go File, Save As, and then I'm going to go Adobe Illustrator. And then I'm going to go Save. And then this dialog comes up and it's going to go save each artboard to a separate file. And I want to go range and I'm just going to do 1. I only want number 1 and that's going to, and then I'm going to go OK. All right. So now that's saved that to the desktop. So then what I'll do is I'll re-import it into the next file. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go File, New, and I'm going to create a new file that is 10 inches by 10 inches. I'm going to have two artboards and then I'm going to go to more settings. And here we want to have the raster effects at high because we want to get a high resolution image off of this. And then set a spacing of 2 inches and then arrange by row. And then they'll just be side by side. Okay, and then create document. Okay, now one thing I want to do is I want to be able to set these with a 1/2 inch border. So I want my grid to show. So I'm going to go View, Show Grid. Now I'm going to show you how to set it up like this. I've got it set so the large black lines are every 1 inch and then the gray lines are every 1/2 inch. And that's going to be helpful. So if you're Illustrator's in setup for that, this is how you do it. You go to Illustrator Preferences, you go to Guides and Grid, and then I like, you can set up whatever you want, but I like the grid to be black, and then the style is lines, and then I said grid every 1 inch, and then the subdivisions every 2, so that'll make it every 1/2 inch. And then I go OK, and that gives me that. Okay, so I'm going to bring in the radial file first. So I'm going to go File, Place, and there it is. I'm going to bring it in. I'm going to start right in the corner here. And it looks like it's a little bit bigger for some reason. That's okay. I'm just going to move it. There it is, right there. Probably what would be helpful is if I have a snap to grid, and then that way it'll go right to the grid. So like that, it just boom, it snaps in place just like a magnet. Okay, so that one's set. All right, now I'm going to bring in my tile study. So I'm going to go File, Place, and there it is. It's a PSD file, Place. Okay, this time I'm going to bring it right to the corner of the 1/2 inch. So I'm not going to bring it up to the edge here, but right here. And you notice that it's too big, which seems right because it's 10 by 10. So I'm going to hit the Shift key and I'm going to drag this right, and you'll see how it snaps snaps right to that because I've got these snap to grid set, and that is great. Okay, so one thing I'm going to do now that I think might make this look a little bit better is I'm going to put a little border around there. So I'm going to do that with a stroke. So I want to make sure that I've got the stroke set, but I don't want the fill set. So I'm going to turn that off, bring this forward. I'm going to set the stroke at 2. Okay. And then I'm going to go to the rectangle tool. So it's going to draw a rectangle of a black line. So I just select it, rectangle tool, and then with the little plus arrow I can start right in the corner here, and it's going to snap to it. I'm going to click and I'm going to drag this diagonally till it goes boom right there. All right, and then get out of it. And I just think it's really helpful to, you know, get in close here and look at that. Make sure that it's not overlaying the edge. It's going to be perfect. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's save these to print. All right, so in order to do this, I want to select the artboard tool. All right, so the artboard is selected, and then what I'm going to do is I need to save these as a PDF. So I'm going to go File, Save As, and I could just call these Finals, maybe Finals Pattern, something like that. And then I'm going to go Adobe PDF. And then I'm going to use artboards, but I'm going to go range and I'm going to go 1 to 2, and it's going to save them as separate. So one's going to say final pattern 1 and the other one's going to say final pattern 2. All right, and then I'm going to go save. And then if you wanted to view it, you could save PDF. Takes a minute on my computer to render it. There's one. And there's the other one. So it's ready to go. So what I would do is either put these in your Google Drive or on a flash drive and take them to CalCopy to print. All right. And they'll print just right. They'll print just fine. Okay. One last thing that we need to do is that if you wanted to save these as JPEGs to post in your journals, again, use the artboard setting, and then we're going to go File, Export As, and we're going to say JPEG. Okay, and we're going to go Use Artboards, and we're going to go Range 1 to 2, and then we're going to go, let's give it a name. And then we're going to go Export. Okay. And they're set. The one thing you're probably going to have to do is, if you didn't go back into or Photoshop and reduce these to 1200 by 1200 at 300 pixels. And that's all there is to it.